Hi there, welcome to Jujube DIY. I'm Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you 4 new Easter crafts that you're not going to want to miss. So if you want to see what I made, stay tuned. For this first DIY, I'm going to use these block bunnies. I purchased these at Ross last year, but you can get onto Etsy and order some similar to this. I will link some down below. I painted the fronts and backs of them white, and then I painted the edge of one pink, left the other one white, and then the third one green. And then I'm going to use some of the scrapbook paper I had in my stash, and I am going to use a glue stick, and I'm going to put the paper onto each of the bunnies. So the pink bunny that has the paint on the outside that's pink, I'm going to use a pink paper, and then the green one is going to correspond with the green paper, and that floral will be with the white. I am just going to make sure that this is pressed down really good and then let that dry. I'm going to use my scissors and I'm just going to rough cut around the edges just to kind of help get rid of some of that paper. And then I'm going to take a little finger sander that I've picked up from Walmart, and I am just going to go around the edges and basically sand off the excess paper. This is a really easy way to get rid of any excess paper, and I love the way it looks. So I'm just going to go around, sand that down, and then I will move on to the next part. So these next steps I'm going to do to each of the bunnies. So I'm going to take a bit of jute twine. I picked mine up from Walmart. I like it a little bit better than the Dollar Tree jute twine. And I am just going to tie that into a knot and then ultimately into a bow, just so that it's nice and secure. If you have an extra person to help tie your knot in there, that is helpful, but I was able to make it work with just my 2 hands there. And I'm just going to tie that in a shoelace bow. I wasn't real super happy with the placement of that tail there, so I'm just going to kind of tuck it back behind the portion that is around the neck of the bunny, and that helps make those strings kind of fall towards the back so that I've got a nice bow in the front. So we just kind of make it work and do what we can to make it look the cutest that it can. Next, I'm going to take one of these hearts from the Dollar Tree. It just has one little hole in the center, and I'm going to use a needle threader to get my jute twine on to that little button, I guess. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I thought they were cute, and when I saw them I picked them up. And I painted one white, one pink, and one green to correspond with each of the bunnies. So I'm just going to tie a knot in the end of my jute twine. I want that little heart to kind of hang down a little bit. And then I will just trim off the ends of the jute twine. And here is a closer look at that green bunny with the green paint and green paper, and the pink bunny with the pink paint and pink paper. I think these turned out so cute and would look adorable on any shelf or a tier tray or in your kitchen or wherever you want a little cute decor. For DIY number 2, I'm going to use one of these MDF bunnies from the Dollar Tree. Gave it a couple of coats of the Waverly chalk paint in white, and then I'm going to use one of these folk art stencils. These are self-adhesive stencils, and they are so great because you just stick that stencil down and it doesn't move on you, and it creates a beautiful stenciled look. I'm just using a little bit of sponge here. This was just one of those sponge brushes I've cut down, and I'm just going to add paint onto my stenciled area in light layers until I'm happy with the opacity, and then I will move on. So in a second, I will show you the removal of this stencil and how wonderful it turns out. Right here. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Just turns out gorgeous. I'm going to let that previous design dry, and then I'm going to move my stencil around and create a pattern on this bunny. And I've got some tips for you on how to use a stencil for patterns. So I'm going to use a paper towel here to press my stencil down. That way I don't have to clean my stencil each time. I'm going to use a sponge to dab on that paint. I'm going to add it in light layers until it's reached the opacity that I like. I'm going to allow the stencil patterns to come off the object, and then I'm going to clean my stencil every 2 or 3 placements, and I'll let the paint dry thoroughly before moving the stencil to a new area. And using a heat tool really speeds this process up. So now to finish up my bunny, this pattern looks so cute, but I'm just going to add a little jute twine bow. And that's all there is to this bunny. I think it turns out so beautiful and high-end. I feel like you could walk into a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby and buy this. For DIY number 3, I'm going to use one of these trees that I picked up in the Crafter Square section at my Dollar Tree. I painted on some of the antique Waverly wax, and then I'm going to use a baby wipe to take off any of the excess. This makes a very beautiful stained look. Next, I'm going to use one of these plaque signs from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to give it 2 coats of the Waverly chalk paint in white, covering the whole entire thing. Now, if you want to, you can distress this. I did not. Next, I'm going to take a bit of painter's tape, and I'm going to line up some of these eggs. These are the wood eggs from the Dollar Tree. These ones I painted white. So I have 2, 3, 6, 7 of them here that are painted white, and then I did the same amount in green and pink as well. So I wanted to create stripes on these eggs, so I'm just using some washi tape. I'm going to put down a piece of washi tape there, add a second piece of washi tape as a spacer, and then a third piece of washi tape, and then take that middle piece off, and then I will do that again with another strip of the washi tape. I don't know why I didn't just do that all at once, but I didn't. So that bottom layer is going to be pink, the middle will be green, and then I'll have a stripe of pink again, and then finally end with a teeny tiny bit of green at the top. I will show you what that looks like here in just a moment, how that striped pattern turned out, so that you have a better idea of what that looks like. So again, I'm just using that little sponge to brush on or dab on that paint. And as you can see, I did the striped egg, a green egg with white polka dots, and a pink egg with white polka dots. And I just used a dotting tool to create those dots. You could definitely use a Posca paint pen or any kind of paint pen to create those dots if you would like. Now that everything is dry, it is time to assemble, and I am going to place this tree onto this plaque. Now, because the tree is bigger than the plaque, it is actually going to sit on that frame of the plaque. So what I'm doing is kind of judging what is going to lay on the frame, and then I'm adding hot glue onto that so that I can get as much surface glued down as possible. And then I'm going to start adding my eggs, and I decided that the striped eggs would go into those center little circly things there, and then I would add the other eggs in the other circles. So basically each branch will have a pink egg, a striped egg, and a green egg, and I'm just going to continue that all the way around, and I did add a few into the center to fill it up. Next, I'm going to use some of these bunnies from the Dollar Tree. I gave them a Waverly wax treatment, and I'm just going to glue them to the bottom of this little tree. So maybe this is their little love bunny tree, I don't know, but I thought it was cute to add these little bunnies at the bottom here to fill it out. And here is a look at the final result. I love how this little sign turned out. It is simple and plain, but it definitely is a super cute decorative piece. For our final DIY, I'm going to use one of these wood wreaths from the Dollar Tree. I just used a pair of pliers to open up the metal part and pulled all the beads off and painted them in a pattern of green, pink, and white. Next, I'm going to use one of these round wood plaques from the Dollar Tree, gave it a couple of coats of the Waverly chalk paint in white, and filled in those holes with spackle. Next, I'm going to secure the wreath down to the wood round with just a little bit of hot glue. I'm just going to add that hot glue in a couple of different areas around just so it is secure. This is going to be a centerpiece, so I'm not going to be hanging on a wall or anything, and it doesn't need to be super secure, but I definitely don't want it moving around. Next, I'm going to use one of these round pieces of floral foam. I picked this up from Michael's. It came in a 2-pack, and I am going to place that where I want it onto that wood round. I am placing it back a little bit so that I've got more area in the front, and then I am going to use one of these, the small round wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. I think they come in a 3-pack, and it's like a small, medium, and large. And so I'm going to use the smallest one, and I am going to place that into the floral foam. And then I'm going to use a Sharpie just to mark those edges, because I'm going to eventually wrap this with jute twine, and I don't want to wrap that area that goes into the floral foam with jute twine. So I'm going to use some of this wired jute twine I got from the Dollar Tree. I am going to just eyeball this. I want to make sure that the ears are big enough that it looks like a bunny and is kind of in proportion with that wreath form, but not too big. So I'm just going to cut 2 pieces that are pretty much the same size, and then I will shape them into bunny ears. I've got an exciting announcement. I am going to be posting every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you mark that down, and then come back and visit me every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time for a new video by Jujube DIY. Once I get them shaped, I am going to twist the bottoms of them a little bit, and then I'm going to twist the bottom portion up around the wreath form. Now, this is just kind of a placement holder, basically, until I can get that jute twine wrapped around. So I am going to add a tiny bit of hot glue here, just so that those don't move around on me while I'm trying to wrap the wreath form. But I would definitely not use hot glue here to secure these ears in place. So I'm going to take some of the jute twine. I am going to start off with a little bit of hot glue right onto that wreath form, and then I will start wrapping that jute twine around the wreath form. Now, this is one of those things that you need to go maybe watch some YouTube videos or a TV show or something while you wrap this. It's, you know, just kind of tedious, but it definitely turns out wonderful in the end, and is well worth the time and effort to wrap this wreath form. If you've never been over to my Facebook group that I host with my friend Lisa from Our Gray House, it's called Crafty DIYs on a Budget, and we welcome everyone into the group. We love to share our projects and our pictures, and everybody has a great time over there. So I will leave the link down in my description box below if you want to come check us out over there on Facebook. So I'm just kind of showing you what I kind of did with the bunny ears. I thought it was recording, but it wasn't. Basically, when I came to wrapping the ears, I went through the middle of the ears a couple of times, and then went around the outside of the ear, and then continued wrapping, and then did the same on the next ear. So it's nice and secure on there. And as you can see, I didn't add any of that jute twine to the bottom where it's going to go into the floral foam. And I did use a lighter to burn off any extra bits and pieces from that jute twine, just to kind of clean it up and make it look a little bit neater. Now I'm going to get into my stash and pull out some florals. I had this eucalyptus swag that I was gifted from somebody who had had a wedding. And then I have some florals in my stash that I'd gotten from Temu. I really love their florals. I think they're beautiful. And I'm going to use some pink and white or off-white colored ones for my arrangement here. Now I'm going to cut all of these apart and I'm going to arrange them into the floral foam in a way that I think looks nice. It's really hard to try to film doing an arrangement like this. So if you want to, you can kind of slow this down or take some pictures if you want to make it look similar. But I just, again, kind of put it in there how I liked it. So next I'm going to use one of these Dollar Tree wood bunny ornaments. I painted it white, filled in the hole with spackle, gave it some green polka dots, and added a cute little pink wood heart to its bum. Now I want to decorate the wreath itself, so I'm going to use bits and pieces from this floral bouquet that came from Temu, and I just cut it all apart. I cut the florals off, I cut the little stems and everything off, and so I'm just arranging them kind of in a swag or like a crown on the top of this bunny head, and I am just going to hot glue that all on to fit onto the top of that wreath. Now to cover up our floral foam, I am going in with moss. I know, disappointing, but it does a very good job of covering it up. Very messy, but it's well worth it. So I just hot glued that down, and then I got some fairy lights. I wrapped it around the round part of our wreath, and then I had extra that went around the whole entire base of the floral foam. So to secure these little lights in place, I am using bobby pins. I didn't have any floral pins, so I thought, you know what, I have bobby pins, I'm going to use those, and that secured it in there nicely. And then I'll just hide that battery pack in the back underneath some of those florals, and it worked out perfectly. So here is a look at our final project. I think this turned out beautiful. It will be a wonderful centerpiece for my Easter table, and I just think it is so cute. And with those little fairy lights on it, it just looks magical. Oh, so pretty. Here is a look at everything we made today. Let me know in the comment section down below which project was your favorite. Well, guys, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you more than you know. I hope you have a happy, healthy, and blessed day. And until the next video, I will talk to you later. Bye.